Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Mike Haspil, and Wyatt Turk from Jacket Clothes Painting. What's up, guys?
Yo, Doc, great to be here.
Hey, everybody. What's up?
What's up?
You didn't say a hobby on, battle on, Kenny.
I did not.
Hobby on, battle on.
You hobos.
Hobby hobos. So I had a pretty exciting hobby weekend. Got back into the Age of Sigmar saddle again. That was pretty fun. Turns out my Beast Claw Raiders went down a number of points. I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about the General's Handbook here.
Yep, I picked it up. I'm excited about a number of things. It's going to get me into Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, you said that it's the only way you're going to have fun playing your Chaos Demons and stuff, right?
Well, I mean, I have a mutual friend, Player J, who's going to do the grunt work, because that's the one thing that always gets me with fantasy is I love painting fantasy heroes, but then when I have to turn around and paint like 100 grunt dudes, I'm just like, fantasy's lame. And I mean, like, I can paint 100 Space Marines because they're sci-fi and cool, but like 100 skinks or 100 clan rats
or 100
like,
nope. Think about the old days where they're even lamer, even though Arthur, the official gangster CPA of our organization, he is such a salty old gamer. He literally is Mike Haspil, but at 30 years old. And he's like, man, look at this dumb, he'll come over and show us pictures of the Stormcast Eternal guys shooting bows that are all glorious and magical. And he's like, look at this model. It's like, yeah, it's so fucking tight. And he's like, rolls his eyes and shows us a picture of a bowman from the old days. Just some hobo, a literal homeless man with a fucking crossbow. That's what fantasy's about. And I'm like, I can't even discuss this with you. Can't even have
one of them is protected. One of them is not protected. Yeah, I mean, I get it. G-Dub they're going to put all that money into it and sell a product. They want it to be theirs. I get that. I'm on board with that.
This guy doesn't even have bowstrings on his bow. It's like, your hobo also doesn't, sir, because he can't afford them.
It's magic. Hello.
You can't have a model of bowstring at 28 millimeter and have it look good.
Yeah.
Plus,
it's like magical bowstrings.
Yeah, they're
in
fucking
the
magic.
D&D cartoon.
And then he looked at me with a straight face and be like, magic? Psh. I was like, really? You're playing Warhammer Fantasy
with dragons and ogres and orcs, and get out of here.
He's such a salt bitch.
Ride the lightning.
So I came up with the idea for the army. I can finally do my 4 horsemen of the chaos apocalypse to have multiple HQs with a separate mark and have all the chaos warriors. And with the new mercenaries, I get to do something that I've been waiting a long time. And I've always wanted to do a bunch of man-eaters. It's like a big ninja clan, because my favorite man-eater model is the ninja man-eater. So I get to have a little
bow staff nobbler.
Yeah, a little bow staff nobbler. Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of cutting up and resculpting and all sorts of stuff to make them all individualized, and it'll be cool. But I don't have to paint 40 Chaos Warriors, so it makes it a lot easier.
I may mess you up here, and I'm sorry if I'm throwing a kink into your plans, but did you know that there is a war scroll remember that old Chaos War Mammoth kit from Forge World that looks dope AF?
Yeah.
It's like 320 points.
Mm-hmm. I saw that in Battlescribe earlier.
And it's amazing.
Is the rules super good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, for 320 points of Beast Claw Raiders, you can't you can't even match it.
Well, I mean, that's always an option.
Yeah, I am always down for some Age of Sigmar fatties.
Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I said it right. It's cool.
All right, so before we get into the actual show, it is becoming quickly our custom to do a Would You Rather.
Oh, yeah, the weekly tradition.
Which is heavily inspired by Wyatt's addition to the show. And he has gotten us tickled on the subject to the point where me and Arthur, who we were just speaking to, because it does take some crafting to make a proper.
Yeah. The proper blend of making somebody uncomfortable, have an existential crisis, and laugh all at the same time.
Yeah. It has to be. Yeah, exactly. It has to be woke. So we worked on one for, a couple hours while he was over here the other day. So I've got one for you guys. Would you rather you can only eat fish for the rest of your life, but that fish has to be fresh? It's guaranteed to be the highest sushi grade quality. You don't have to worry about where you get it. It just shows up at your door every morning. Beautiful. But you have to eat it like a fucking savage. You have to eat it like Gollum does. Like, you don't get to cook that motherfucker. You don't even get to, you can take the scales off. We deferred to that. You can descale it. But ultimately, you have to eat that motherfucker like a savage. That is all you get to eat. You can plan your meals around it. You can do whatever you want. That's your meals. You can go to a restaurant and you can barter with the chef and be like, do you have a fresh fish back there? Send me one to my table and you can eat it with your friends. That still works. Or would you rather you can eat anything you want off the seafood menu for the rest of your life at Long John Silver's?
Oh my God.
Oh, bad one. I mean, I went with fish. I mean, like we talked it out and I was like, can I at least take the scales and like take the skin off? Because that's like basically inedible. You can, if you get to the meat, it's not that bad. Like I've bitten into a fish before. It's really not that bad. But eating every single meal at fucking like you'll die in like a year.
Yeah, I feel like the Long John Silver's thing, you don't have to worry about, because if you choose that, 6 months, you're dead.
Yeah, Long John Silver's ain't got no salads.
Well, also said seafood menu, so because you have to eat fish though, it's still gotta be fish.
But it's all deep fried. It's breaded. It's
I'm out on the
composite fish. It's not real. It's like leftover
and it's
fish.
Vile. Like, it's fucking vile.
Terrible.
Don't they have like hush puppies and like French fries? But even then,
seafood menu. You can have popcorn shrimp, fried popcorn shrimp.
But are they shrimp?
No, certainly not.
I mean, don't worry about
it. My point is like, so eventually you would become Gollum, Haspil, if you took the fish, the raw fish.
No, I don't think you would become Gollum. You'd become, dude, you'd be shredded. You'd be super healthy.
You would only eat in privacy.
You'd look like Jason Momoa.
You would eat in privacy and shame. Your meal times would become quickly infrequent as you stopped enjoying food. You would be quickly lacking the energy to actually lift weights and work out as your diet like plummeted and the calories you were intaking plummeted as you had to keep upping your savage fish eating to maintain any real caloric intake.
Got dark quick.
But you would live forever. You can still take vitamins. You can take vitamins.
Can you request what kind of fish you get?
Yeah.
For the fresh fish, so it doesn't have to be like the same kind of fish every time?
It's a genie. Like a genie granted you this ability to have this fish open your door every morning and you could just telepathically decide every morning what it is.
Yeah, I'm totally picking the fresh fish. Totally.
That doesn't seem too bad.
I feel like I could live off of that. I feel like people in the world now live off of that.
Yep. Like a god, but you have to just go nuts. Like there's no like cutting it open, de-gutting it.
No. You're maybe removing the scales and then just chowing down.
Yeah, you got to remove the scales. I mean, we live in a society. Let's be real.
But yeah, I feel like the Long John Silver's option, you're going to last a year.
Yeah, you're not going to make it. But it's,
you're not going to make it.
I said that one was too easy because it's got to be a choice that you don't want to make. So like everybody, like you hear that one and you're just like, oh, of course, fresh fish over Long John Silver's like all day, every day. So I posited that we should up the ante.
Oh.
And what it should be is that once a week, let's call it Wednesday, you have to go to Long John Silver's and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Long John Silver's. Alternatively, every Wednesday, you can just have a hobo miraculously appear in your living room and cough into your mouth because it's basically the same thing.
This is where we had this conversation the other day while I was in my kitchen. I never forget it because it was the same thing. Then it gets even better. It's like, so you can plan. So can this hobo just show up? Like, so this is what it comes down to. Which is more convenient? Do I have to go to the Long John Silver's? Is that the only way
Yeah,
this
you
works?
have to physically go to the Long John
But
Silver's.
will the hobo just randomly show up and do it? Like, will he come to my house and cough in my mouth?
Yeah.
So since they're the same thing medically, I will choose the more convenient solution, which is the hobo coughs in my mouth.
You're gambling.
Yeah, but it's also more convenient. I don't have to leave the house. But, I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna break with you there. I'm gonna go with the Long John Silver's on Wednesday. That's just Long John Silver's day.
it's just your.
I don't have to
Popcorn
eat.
shrimp Wednesdays. Let's
Well,
go.
I don't have to eat all the. They have coleslaw. They have other stuff.
I mean, do you really want to know where that cold slaw has been?
No, but I don't want a hobo coughing in my mouth.
I mean,
With some medieval
that could be
disease.
that hobo could be like he could have been a hobo for like one day for an afternoon. That cold slaw could have been out in the sun for like a week.
I will roll the dice.
All right.
Yep. Everyone's made their choice, and they're comfortable with it. I don't see a difference between a hobo coughing in my mouth and eating a Long John Silver, so I'll pick the convenient route.
One of those is gluten free, so you don't want my choice.
Yeah, hobo in your mouth is typically going to be gluten free.
Yeah, 100%. It'll just be like Anatomy Park. Let's talk about the real issues here. Like places like Golden Corral that have like the fountain of cheese, like bubbling cheese. Have you guys seen that?
No, what have I ever been in a Golden
I've
Corral?
eaten at Golden Corrals more times than I'm proud to admit.
Like that shit inevitably goes wrong because you get kids involved and the kids stick things in there, including themselves.
There was a time post high school where I was a very poor boy, and me and my 3 roommates would eat at Golden Corral quite a bit.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean it was like, you know, you don't go to that cheese fountain. Like that's
That's like
that's a bush league. That's
same thing as using those super high powered hand dryers in the bathroom.
yeah. I mean, you're just getting poop.
That's
blowing
just
onto your
straight
hands.
pink eye city right there. That's fecal
Yeah,
matter.
don't do that.
Gotta use some wisdom here, guys. Come on.
We made sure to go for the like early bird special when all the old people was there because we knew that everybody would be handling everything with manners and shit. And then we'd be wrapping up right about like 6-7 o'clock when all the people, all the nasties and the kids and all that showed up and be like, get the fuck out of here.
God.
I feel like this podcast is taking a dark turn.
Yeah. All right, Rob, do content.
Just do your thing. Just the things. Well, this week we don't have anything new on the horizon as far as new releases go because it's all the apocalypse stuff that we already kind of knew about. So we'll run it down again real quick. The Repulsor Executioner is a Hondi. The Scorpius Disintegrator, that's that new AdMech landing craft thing, $75. All 10 of the new battalions are $170 each with $250 to $280 in actual value inside of each box, so not too shabby. The Baneblade's getting a re-release with all 8. You can make all 8 tanks, or it comes with the parts for all 8. We have a video on how to make all 8 actually on YouTube if you want to check that out. The Octoblade, and that is $140. The new Apocalypse box set, $100. I have lots to say about that. I'm sure you'll see an editorial here in the near future about how to play Apocalypse without spending $100.
Oh boy.
Yay. Command asset cards, $25. All the data sheets for the factions, $25 as well. Movement trays, 3 different versions of them with varying degrees of movement trays inside, depending on size, for $40 each. Apocalypse dice, $45 each. The new Citadel Crusade XL case, for $160. And then there's some books and paperbacks and audiobooks and Apocalypse Special Edition hardback, which I think is actually a novel. But that will all be going on pre-order this Saturday for delivery on July. Well, it goes on retail sale July 6th. However, Games Workshop Trade Sales is taking next Thursday and Friday off here in the States because next Thursday is 4th of July.
Is it really that, or is it that they're counting up all their contest money?
A little both.
I mean,
they're probably counting that money while thinking to themselves about these stupid colonists that think they won, but they keep getting all our money.
Well, that's I was talking North America trade. I don't know what England's doing. And I don't know if they're counting, air quotes, counting all their contest money. So
I just like to pretend that the people that are like the shareholders at Games Workshop are a bunch of old dudes. They hang out at a British country club and still wear like makeup and wigs and shit.
So you would be shocked to know that the majority of ownership from Games Workshop is private equity.
Is what?
Private equity firm.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm
still going to pretend.
Oh, that's fine. They're not in England, though.
What?
I'm blowing your mind here. I'm sorry.
I'm suddenly more interested in this conversation. I was leaning back in my chair, vaping, texting. I'm like, wait.
They asked me, we had a lengthy conversation several years ago when things were really bad for GW. And they're like, well, what do you think they should do? And I was like, I mean, they paid me for my time. I was like, okay. Well, I told them all sorts of things. Like, I have many of opinion on the matter. Some of which the GW has turned around and done.
Back before GW had some beef, a street beef with us?
No, I mean, no. This was back when Kirby had the reins and was doing all sorts of crazy shit. And Kirby actually still owns a large, I think he owns about 7% of GW right now. He sold off a bunch.
Bought a house.
No, that was the current CEO.
Bought a house. God.
Bought a house. Well, I mean, it was smart timing when he sold it. You can't
was
get
genius.
mad.
No, I wasn't mad at all. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, checked out. Like it was all done by the book. Can't even, everything checked out. So I mean, hey, whatever. And then they gave bonuses to all their, employees, like another £5 million just across the board and I don't know the specifics on who, where, what, or how much or any of that, but that was their big announcement. So
it's good profit sharing. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a nice visual to think that's the case, but I don't think that's the case. Now we can do some.
I choose to believe that's the case. I want to believe in the good GW.
I mean, GW is in a much better place financially than it was several years ago. Let's all be real about that. So, and there's nobody even close to them right now. So it's good. It's good for the hobby. It's good overall. It's good for the industry. It's good for the whole business space. We could do some bold predictions because I can tell you right now, Chaos Knights very, very close to happening. Some new terrain out there too.
Just in time. Finally got over my penicillin, my round of penicillin.
Yeah, it'll be very soon, very, very soon. Sylvan is still waiting in the wings. I forgot to ask about that one, but there is some new terrain sets coming out, so those will be very, very soon as well. So if I had to guess, I would say Chaos Knights will go on pre-order probably July 6th. We'll probably see Warcry the week after, or Sylvanus. Sylvanus is the mystery right now because from what I understand, they might be the Wildwoods. They're waiting on the Wildwoods to come in from China. So, or they're stuck somewhere. They're on hold because they got to pay some stuff or something. That's the word on the street. I don't know exactly because I'm not privy to any of that, but that would be cool. Like I'm waiting on Sylvaneth. I've been like trying to take digital calipers to pictures to figure out how big these trees are and like play test with Sylvaneth. And I'm like, man, I'm getting the angles all wrong and I'm trying to figure it out. And then the General's Handbook came out and there's a picture of the Wildwoods in there. And I'm like, it's blowing my mind. I can't figure it out. And they just look like the old woods, the size. But anyways, I won't bore you with the old Age of Sigmar right there. So if I had to guess, I would say Chaos Knights very, very soon. New terrain, Warcry also very, very soon. If I had to put the new Space Marine, the rumored Space Marine re-release, 2.0 release, White Scars, new kits, new multi-part kits, supposedly, I would say August.
Are you saying the remix?
Yeah, Space Marines, the remix.
Is it the remix? Is that what you're saying? Like the remix?
Yeah, remix.
You didn't do it right.
How should I do it?
Remix.
I can't talk like that.
All right.
I can barely talk as it is. Let's be honest. So that I think that's everything. I'm gonna go with yes.
That's a light tabletop marketplace, but no less exciting.
Well, it's because we already knew what was coming out from the week before, so it's just kind of building up. But
Chaos Knights.
Chaos Knights. Oh, and we got some previews for Chaos Knights we'll talk about later in the show, too. Some rules previews. Ish.
All right.
Air quotes.
So no pop culture segment by Mike Haspil right now?
Well, there's not a whole lot to talk about. There's they're re-releasing Avengers Endgame with some new footage to go after Avatar's record. Which I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably go to the theater and watch it again. I would point out though that Avatar, as overrated as it is, did it without, a 22 movie run up or however many movies it was for Avengers Endgame. Yeah. It did it on its own as a solo picture, which is crazy.
It was a phenomenon. I mean, it was like touted as this like new technology. It was this new original story. And it's like,
and there's a theme park out there and all this stuff. But one of the things that's interesting about Avatar is that there's not a single pop culture reference that comes from it. I can't even think of a movie quote from Avatar.
Is it just me? I did not like that movie. I actually walked out of that movie because there was a bar in the theater and I had tequila.
Huh.
Talk about Avatar, the one with the blue aliens and shit?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know the movie. It's the remake off of, right? But
I mean, everyone knows. I mean, it's not an original plot, obviously. It had cool graphics, obviously. Do you ever watch the the director's cut, like DVD?
No.
There's a lot of cool sci-fi scenes in the director's cut in the deleted scenes that are fucking really cool. There's like scenes of this dude like on Earth in his wheelchair, like getting thrown out of bars, giving up on life, and then Earth looks like fucking Blade Runner Earth. And I was like, where the fuck was that? Like, I want that scene. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know more about this guy.
And Cameron has been off making sequels to Avatar ostensibly ever since. And that's how he's paying for all this new tech that he's working with that we saw a glimpse of in Battle Angel. But one of the things I would like to see in the sequel.
So bad.
One of the things I would like to see in the sequel is for people to be honest, because the Na'vi kicked humanity off of that planet with like a bunch of security guards is who they were fighting.
Yeah.
So you just, they mentioned something about unobtainium makes all of Earth tech really work. And it's only found on here.
Like they would definitely send in a full
the
multinational coalition,
the Ultramarines,
professional military. Drop pods would have been dropped.
Yeah, the Na'vi are not going to be happy in the sequels because they're going to face the military might of Terra, and it's not going to be pretty. It's
telling me like the shadow who kills or whatever is their last shadow isn't going to be able to take out some Space Marines.
No,
I don't think so.
They took out some security guards and a makeshift shuttle that they were using as a bomber. They didn't actually fight anybody.
Fair point. I'm behind that.
So if Cameron wanted to get my undying loyalty, he would have some Space Marines drop in Avatar 2. That's how that movie would start. And
it would be the same Colonial Marines from the Weyland-Yutani verse. God,
I would,
since all of those movies are connected by Weyland-Yutani.
I would absolutely lose my mind if it was Colonial Marines. And I will. There's a small segue, right? I don't understand what's wrong with Hollywood. They, aliens. We get Colonial Marines, and everybody loves them, right? And we have how many sequels to Aliens now? How many other movies have come out? And we have seen one M41A pulse rifle that made a cameo. If you squint hard enough, you can see it in Aliens 3. And never another mention of Colonial Marines when that's all anybody wants. And Hollywood can't figure it out that just make a Colonial Marines movie. Don't make stupid movies. But no, we get Alien Covenant. We get all this nonsense. Whatever. Anyway, my rant's over. Next.
I can't even.
And on this podcast, rants.
It just infuriates me because it's just like, come on, guys. Like, this is a simple decision. It's not even that hard. And it's like, and so many people reference the Colonial Marines thing. I mean, it showed up in Call of Duty. It showed up in the little Halo movie that the test footage that Weta was going to make, that they had direct shots that were inspired by the Colonial Marines. They had all this stuff. And it's like, we can't figure it out, that Colonial Marines are what they want. No, we got to keep putting Ripley in there because she's hot. No, it's called Alien, you jackasses. It's about the aliens. But no, whatever. Let's just make a nonsensical movie where people make the most stupid decisions ever made.
Prometheus?
Yeah. Don't even get me started. That's fucking Damon Lindelof ruining Jonathan Spate's script. Whatever. I'm done. I'm done with it.
We spent a solid 2 months on how much you hated that movie when that came out. So guys, let's talk some tournaments. Next month, in just a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, ATC's the American Team Championships in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Shout out to Dice Head Games for putting that event on, Shane and Chris over there. We also have Slaughterfest later in the month. Big news. So you guys knew I was going to Slaughterfest with Wyatt. We're going to make some plays. They sold that shit out. It's over 100 people now, guys. Slaughterfest is basically full.
They are already negotiating with the venue for next year.
So
that's a good problem to have.
That is a good problem to have. So let's go back. Let's go back a tick. ATC's American Team Championship. How many years now has it been, Rob? 8 years. We were there day one. Me and Rob were on a team 2 years in a row that actually won it the first 2 years. We were big. We love that event. The only reason I stopped going is because I moved 3 years ago. It's just a little too difficult for me to go back out to Chattanooga from California in July. So I don't go anymore. Rob goes, he covers it, he helps out because Shane and Chris are dear friends of ours and we do what we can. I recently had a phone call with Rob, Shane, a guy named Brad, and turns out I'm going to ATC's, guys. Rob, why am I going to go there to play in the tournament?
So me and Kenny will be doing the shot calling for a very ambitious 5-table live stream all weekend long. Well, it's going to start on, I think we're doing some.
The word on the street is for Jersey, Saturday, 3 games on Saturday, the finals on Sunday. It potentially will come in light on Friday and do some after action interviews so you guys can understand the stakes for going into day 2.
Yeah,
so
with live commentary, player mics will be on from time to time, listening in on some of that stuff, multiple camera angles, going down to the actual tables themselves, getting interviews, seeing what's happening, having guests up at the booth, talking to them about their games, talking to other folks there about the meta and different things. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be pushed out on all the Twitches.
When Rob says ambitious, this is something that no one's been able to pull off before, but this is powered by Skillshot. This is a big organization that covers Overwatch leagues, Smite leagues, like so much coverage. There are dozens of players in their staple, sponsorships, everything. Turns out Brad is a huge fan of 40K. He's actually playing at ATC's, and that was the missing link. Getting an organization in here who's got all this experience and all this tech and hardware and an entire crew and a production company devoted to it, who also loves 40K. Well, we're going. They talked us into it. So there's going to be a Black Magic camera on every table. There's going to be a motion movable camera on every table. There's going to be street level cams. We're going to be covering literally the 5v5 all at once the entire time with a full crew. So me and Rob are just going to do what we do. We're going to try to get the coverage, try to commentate. There's going to be technologies you guys have never seen before being implemented that we did preview on the webcast a few minutes ago. It is something at first, I will be real with you guys. I didn't know if I was going to go. I soft committed to it because Shane, I love Shane. I was waiting for the follow-up conversation with Brad. He sold me within like a minute on the passion.
Oh yeah.
For the future of the esports and the exposure and how we need to bring this to everyone out there in the tabletop world. And so this is happening.
And if you got any time, July 12th to the 14th, just to tune in on, any of the Twitch channels, Longmore, Spiky Bits, Next Level Painting, we'll have it on Spiky Bits Facebook for everybody to check out. It'll be on all the Dice Head stuff. All over the place. It will be out there. I'm sure it'll be getting restreamed and hosted, all sorts of things out there. But definitely pop in and check it out.
So we preemptively apologize for what Rob is saying. We are going to be aggressively marketing this because we need to make sure no one misses this. This is this is going to be the future. So
yeah, this is the literal tipping point for this hobby, and for this hobby to grow. Remember, Games Workshop's at the top. Like, we've got to elevate everything up and push GW up with us, like, for bringing these bigger players and bringing these potential advertisers from outside the whole tabletop gaming, for them to realize that, oh shit, tabletop's a real thing. This is a real thing. Oh, it's not just Dungeons and Dragons, because we heard about Dungeons and Dragons and we're in on that. Oh, there's this other thing, tabletop. Boom. That's what we need, guys. Like, that's what we need to make this hobby bigger and better than it could ever be, for something that, you know, we've hit the top of our technical, like, abilities and expertise. Bringing in, you know, Brad coming into the space and just, like, blowing it up is just amazing. And that's exactly what this hobby.
It's going to be the most pro shit you guys ever seen. So anyone who's going to be at the ATCs playing, be prepared. If you're going to be covered, it's going to be the most pro shit you've seen to date in tabletop miniatures. Me and Rob are actually being brought in just as commentators. We have nothing to do with touching a camera, which we're allowed to touch cameras if we want to. We're not flipping screens, but we're allowed to if we want to. We are literally brought in specifically to do a job, because there's going to be an expert group of people doing their job. And it's going to be a beautiful union between these guys and us here at Long War TV. Moving forward, I am stoked beyond belief, man. Honored, honestly, to be selected.
Just remember what to do with your hands.
I don't know what to do with them, dog. I felt like I was going really fast. Felt like I was in a rocket ship.
I'm just stoked we don't have to do the technical stuff.
Well, that's why we got kind of nervous, because this is not our first rodeo. And we were like, but this, but that, it's going to be like this. They're like, oh, laughed at us. They're like, oh no, guys, like, we got this. Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, because we only know what we've been a part of, and, you know, doing it for 9 years, you know, as professionally as we could. We definitely have some lessons learned and some potential gotcha points, but, you know, I was like, okay, all right, this sounds good.
Okay, we do have a comment I'm going to answer. Lavaris, what stream is going to be hosting it? There's not going to be any hosting. Hosting is not what's happening. This is going to be a full live rollout. The stream keys of all our major platforms are going to be in a server pushing this out live. It's going to be Long War TV. Next Level Painting, Spiky Bits. It's going to be all of our respective Facebook, YouTube channels, the Spiky Bits Hobbies, plus Skillshot and their subsidiaries. This is going to be pushed out as aggressively as possible to create that awareness. We're in a hobby renaissance. This is part of it.
Yeah, it'll also be on the Professional Tabletop Twitch channel too, because you can actually go and look at some of their previous, to get an idea of what it'll be. You can go check that out too. I think there's a couple clips in there, the stuff they've done.
Admittedly, there will be a bit of a learning curve, because we're going to be, you know, experimenting with the format with 5 tables and dialing it in. And we reserve the right to cut anything out that doesn't work as we go and create a perfect formula. So it's going to be hype, guys. So Slaughterfest, ATCs, July is going to be hype AF.
There you go.
He's getting it. He's reining it in. Good job, Kenny.
Thanks, guys.
Just read the teleprompter.
Yeah, just read the teleprompter. Who put a question mark on that?
Hype as fuck?
What? He reads everything. Yeah, we got to bone up on all our Will Ferrells.
Oh, yeah. God, I'm going to rewatch Dodgeball 100 times before then.
Yeah.
Got to get that vernacular down, you know. But that's the tournament stuff this next month. But what's the meat and potatoes looking like right now?
So we've got Code of Conduct, the new Games Workshop Code of Conduct that they'll be passing out to all of their players at their events, at least on the Sigmar side of things. And it's pretty thorough, I feel like. Wyatt read it off earlier.
There is.
Can we get another reading? Can we get? So we're gonna get a new reading right now.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Dramatic reading of the Games Workshop Code of Conduct.
I was just saying they have like an entire page talking about how they formed these, and it was tested in multiple like test groups and all that great stuff. So it's definitely like worth looking into, because this isn't just something they came up with arbitrarily. This is like things that have happened many times that all of us collectively can agree on, that are things that need to, we need to be happening at the tabletop.
Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of a throwback too, back to their old RTT book that they had on how to host tournaments. They had like a player bill of rights. A lot of this stuff kind of, it's not the same, but it echoes the same.
Yeah. So here on page 5, the new Age of Sigmar General's Handbook, the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Players Code, expect a copy paste of Warhammer 40,000 Players Code and chapter approved coming out later this year.
I would imagine, yeah.
Cardinal rules: always be polite and respectful, and always tell the truth and never cheat. Pretty easy. Everybody can agree on those. And then it lists some principles with bullet points. Arrive on time with all the things you need to play the game. It's pretty standard. You should have all your stuff. Offer to shake your opponent's hand before and after the game. Like, very important sportsmanship right there. Even if you lost and you're feeling salty, make sure to do that. Avoid using language your opponent might find offensive. Kenny. I mean, it says it says that. It says Kenny right here. It period. Kenny. Period.
Well, shit.
Ask your opponent's permission if you wish to use unpainted models or proxy models. It's been a pretty standard event rule for a long time. If you're going to use proxies, contact the TO prior. Let them know. Offer your opponent a chance to examine your army roster before the battle starts. Again, pretty standard. Answer any questions your opponent has about your army and the rules that apply to your army. It's a pretty good one because they may never have played your army before, so they may not know. Don't be that guy and play the gotcha bitch card. Measure moves and distances carefully and accurately. Give your opponent the chance to examine your dice rolls before picking up the dice. It's pretty important. Some people can get pretty dice superstitious. You want to make sure that they're seeing what happens. Ask permission before touching any of your opponent's miniatures. Remind your opponent about rules they may have forgotten to use or which they have used incorrectly, especially when doing so is to your opponent's advantage rather than your own. So they're telling you, like, make sure the rules are right, but don't be a dick about it.
That's one of my favorite ones when I play. Like, people, like, even if I'm playing at the top level and I'm playing like the final round or something, if there's this rule like that I remember that they didn't about their own army, like sometimes this happens. Like, I'll fuck up and do something. I'm like, oh shit, he's got this thing. And then we'll get to the point where he's able to do that thing and he forgets. I'm always conflicted with like, ooh, I'm gonna get away with that. But then ultimately my moral compass beats out and I have to open my mouth and be like, you do have that. And
no gotcha bitches.
And they're like, oh shit, thanks, man. And you have a friend for life. So Also, I don't like winning a game because it was played wrong. Like them people are like, well, you forgot, that's on him. Yeah, but like that rule exists, right? Like, so I only won because it was played incorrectly. That's not really a win. No. So that's just a great, solid, multi-leveled code of conduct right there.
Yeah. Great addition. Here's another really big one. Never deliberately waste time during a game. This has been a major issue in many huge events.
Possibly why chess clocks are a thing now.
Yep. Bring a chess clock all the time. ITC ruling is if one person wants it, you're both playing on it. Like, that's how it happens.
Porn's not going to download itself. Like, come on.
Avoid distracting an opponent when they are trying to concentrate, and be careful to respect their personal space. It's a pretty big one. Like, if you're that guy that is super silent and calculating during your turn, and then their turn starts, and you want to be a chatty Cathy and ask them about the Yankees game or that new movie or whatever, like don't be that guy. It's
a lot of people do that.
Yep. Also, I would like to add that showering and wearing deodorant during a tournament is respecting people's personal space. That's a big one.
Especially when you roll around at dick level.
Yeah, it's big. It's a big deal.
Damn.
Oof.
Never complain about your bad luck or your opponent's good luck. So don't complain about RNG. We play a game with dice and toy soldiers. Like, this is what it is, man.
And I'll chime in on an extra one on that. Don't be fake don't be condescending, so that if your opponent rolls a handful of ones, don't be like, don't placate me, man, that just sucks. You know, yeah. Don't be that guy either, because that doesn't create people aren't stupid. They know that you're not like, oh, you're really sad about him rolling a handful of ones.
Yeah. Don't placate a grown ass man. Like, he's not an idiot. He's been placated to. He's coming here to not be placated to. If somebody rolls a series of bad dice, that's most unfortunate, right? Go back to that first step. Don't get mad about the RNG, right? So you're going to roll above odds and below odds all throughout a game. It's statistically unlikely that every time you roll 10 dice, half of them are above a 4, half are below. It's going to even out over the course of the game. Bad luck is when it happens at a crucial moment when you roll below odds. So if I see this guy rolling crucially below odds in a moment to my advantage, rather than try to placate the guy and be like, oh, that sucks. Usually I'll say something like, get good at rolling dice, scrub.
Or,
and he laughs and he'll laugh at it. He'll laugh it off. He'll be like, you're right, I
don't mean don't acknowledge it. You can be like, whoa, man, that's some of the worst dice rolling I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Or that's some seriously bad luck. You can totally acknowledge it, but don't be like, oh man, that's so sad that you rolled all those, ones, because that's condescending and that just creates feel bads.
All right. Last one.
But tactically it is good sportsmanship to acknowledge when, like, that's why this point is so good, is like sportsmanship. Acknowledge that something bad happened to your opponent for sure. Cause he is looking for that affirmation, right? He is like, fuck, this just happened. He wants to be acknowledged. He wants the world to witness that this roll went south. So find a way to witness that without being a dick, essentially.
All right. Never collude with an opponent to fix the outcome of a game. No collusion.
Don't do it.
Don't be that guy. It's actually a pretty big one, considering that happened in an Age of Sigmar tournament at LVO this year. 2 people got disqualified.
I feel like if you do that, if you did that at an event I was running, that's a lifetime ban.
Oh, Reese was pissed. He was not happy about it.
Yeah, you're just gone. I'll just be like, you know what? You might as well just pick up another game because you're not playing in my events anymore.
It's funny because they had a suspicion of that taking place at Bay Area Open this year, where they tied and it was a high tie. So it is kind of easy to, like, if you look at the way you score secondaries and primaries in ATC, you can manipulate it in such a way where it doesn't look outwardly like a tie on the scorecard, but it is, and it's a really high scoring tie. So those are instantly suspect, especially when it's like top players in the late rounds of the event, where it's like, okay, these guys tied. But ties happen a lot in ITC now. This isn't win-loss, it's win-loss draw. Ties, or there's no tie breaking. It's if you fucking score the same points, it's a tie. That happens a lot. But when it's like a tie and like above a certain point level, and it's 2 ballers playing at this round, instantly it's suspect, right? So I was talking to them and they're like, man, we're trying to figure out how to figure this out. I was like, it's easy. Grab one, grab the other. Ask them what the scores were. Like, ask them what their secondaries were. Ask them about the game. Compare the notes. Don't let them, cause if they colluded, they sat down right next to each other and then filled out the card, before the game or after the game to make it match. But if you just quickly separate them and ask them 2 sets of questions, then talk to each other and decide if you figured it out. And he's like, oh my God, you're right. I was like, yeah. And then they used that strategy and they determined that they did not collude and it was just a tie at a high level, a massacre.
Yep. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah, all those make a lot of sense. I mean, I would definitely agree on all of them.
With how competitive the game is now and how we have a pro tour and how people are tracking their scores internationally And we are on the verge of esports, which means we are on the verge of true player sponsorship, which means we are on the verge of living wages because you're good at 40K.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get uglier before it gets prettier.
Yep. Got to iron out all the kinks.
Rules are generally there. I mean, you know, Haspil knows, rules are there because somebody did it.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I mean, safety briefs are a thing.
Yeah. And they go down and they're like going down the checklist of like the shit to say. And like, you know, your CEO is like, I can't believe this one actually happened. You know, like this is just so preposterous in nature, but it's because it did.
To be honest, I think they need to be more iron fisted with these rules.
Yep. Agreed.
I think we need to see more suspensions. We need to see more.
It has gone that way.
Like the TOs need to like kind of sack up a little bit on some of these people that are habitual line steppers and kick them out so that people know there's no tolerance on this because we're entering a new phase of the game where people need to be held to a higher standard. We're
still not, I mean, it's in the last year, things have happened. People have been banned. People told them to come back for a year, suspensions. They came out with floor rules. ITC did, but we're still in America. And in America, we're all on our own little islands, always, forever. Right. So we still have like this camp out here, this camp out here. And this is actually something we discussed when we were talking with Skillshot was like in the miniature world, for some reason, we're all whiny as fuck and we don't want to work with each other. Like, which is, you know, a broad stroke of a statement, right? Everyone's like, well, this is mine. Everyone is holding everything that they think they came up with precious. They're holding it super precious, right? But it's eventually going to merge and we're all going to be adopting something similar. Even though we all play the same game, we all play it differently with our own mission packets. We all have our own vision of how it should be played. Well, for the first time ever, we've got the ITC format, which is played thousands of times a week, which is voted on, and which is tweaked. That is the most stable tournament format. That's step one, right? More people are playing that format than anywhere now. Step two is going to be the full adoption of their vision of floor rules, which is clearly supplemented by GW because this set of code of conduct is very similar to what Frontline Gaming phrased out on their wrote out on their website. So once we can get that person's vision of floor rules established and backed by the company who runs this joint, and then everyone adopts it at a competitive level for all tournament play, and it's going to work itself out. But before that moment, I think there's going to be some ugly scandals.
That's unfortunate.
Which I would remind anybody listening to this podcast, like we are stoked on this, you know, like this, what we're going to be doing at ATC and what we're going to be trying to do for years to come, hopefully. The people who are winning games today and holding themselves to that higher standard
are going to be fun.
And who are being filmed doing it are going to be the legends of this game for years. As this starts to pick up and it gets super popular, just like every esports did, you're going to be remembered, but you're not going to be remembered if you fucked up and didn't give a shit and came in and constantly pushed the line and were a dick to everybody, you know, unless you're playing up to a character or persona, but those guys are never actually cheating. You watch any esports and the guy's just being over the top villain. He's not cheating. It's impossible. Like,
yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because I'm like wondering if we're going to have faces and heels and stuff.
I mean, eventually it could evolve into that. I mean, everything goes, you know, it starts out as one thing and then it evolves and you prune it and keep it tighter and branches off. You know, we've seen that with the ITC. They always keep it fresh every year and then they roll out this stuff, you know, like the code of conduct. And it's good. It's a good, healthy playing environment. It keeps things, you know, now we got the mono faction thing too. Like it's amazing. It's great. You still got you got some of those. Wyatt?
Well, hold on a second.
Well, that was all of them.
Oh, that was all. Okay, right. Yeah.
I was thinking this. So you know how like in basketball you can foul out and there's strategies for sharing your foul outs and stuff. I can see like this getting so competitive with like sponsored teams and players and like, you know, yellow cards and red cards. I mean, I can literally see people being like this, like the tactics within the tactics one day.
We are gamers.
We're gamers. We will game anything you tell us to game. And the fact is that there's still dice, there's still tape measures. But the second every game that matters is going to be on tape, on a stream somewhere, I think that's where it's going to start working itself out. And that's why I say I remind you guys, there's legends out there that, the Don Hoosens, the Jim Vessels, the, everyone on Team America, Sean Nadens and stuff like that. There's legends out there right now who are these amazing players.
Mm-hmm.
What you do today on camera and you consistently maintain is going to define your legacy in this hobby. If that's something you're pursuing, if you're so good at this game, you put that many hours into it that you're ready to transition to some type of professional income. Think about it.
Are you saying what we do in life echoes in eternity?
What you do in life echoes into eternity.
No, but that was some righteous shit, Haspil.
I would say, why worry about something that's inevitable?
Why worry about something that's not going to happen?
Is it the other way around?
It's the same thing if you think about it.
I mean,
I can't even right now. What else we got to talk about tonight?
You got 3 lists, right?
We got all sorts of stuff.
We should mention, since I brought up Jim Vessel, we should bring up
the theft.
Yeah.
The great
thefting. Jim Vessel, we brought him on the show about 4 weeks ago, I believe, and to talk about how he's the greatest player in the world today. He got his army stolen from the Toronto airport. His whole army case was jacked, straight up jacked. It's been posted around. I imagine most of you guys have seen it by this point, have seen the post. It was shared hundreds and hundreds of times. I doubt anyone listening to this show at this point hasn't heard of it. But if this is the first time you're hearing of it, just go on Facebook, go on one of our pages, take a look at the pictures that have been posted. He's just asking, if you see this shit on Craigslist, you see this shit on eBay, hit me up, please. Because that is so unfortunate, and he painted all those models. They're beautiful. He converted them all.
Yep.
I mean, he's so sad right now. People are offering to commission new stuff, and he's just he can't even right now. He's destroyed. I had a conversation with him the other day. I was like, I know people who will set you up probably on charity. He's like, no, man, it's my models, man. I want to have my army. And he's just so destroyed right now. So big, heart goes out to him, man. That is just brutal.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's very unfortunate. Hopefully we'll hear good things about this relatively soon. What else we got? Oh, new previews. So GW put out some Apocalypse rules, and all of the Apocalypse rules actually for each individual data sheet, and we could kind of grind through them and pick up a few things. For the Chaos Knights, we have what is being called the Knight Tyrant. So that's the Castellan for Chaos, supposedly, when the Codex comes out. And it's armed with, as you would expect. Now, we don't know exactly what these are going to do in 40K, but you would imagine the Conflagration Cannon is probably going to do the same thing. The Plasma Decimator, also probably going to do the same thing as the Castellan's Plasma. Shieldbreaker Missiles, Thundercoil Harpoon, Twin Melta Guns, Twin Siegebreaker Cannon, Volcano Lance, and Titanic Feet. So it looks like it's going to have very similar rules to the Castellan / Valiants. But you'll probably be able to mix and match the weapons because it'll probably just be one unit. There won't be a Castellan and a Valiant, I wouldn't think. Yeah,
didn't we do a post on Spiky Bits where we kind of theorized that Chaos would have... Mm-hmm. We'd probably some expensive options, but it'd be more configurable, more customizable.
That's actually absolutely. I think we did a podcast on it too.
Yeah, I think so.
The Knight Despoiler is the Questoris variant class. So there's the Avenger Gatling Cannon, the Melta Guns, the Stubbers, the Heavy Flamers, the Iron Storm Missile Pods, the Rapid Fire Battle Cannon, Thermal Cannon, all the stuff you would come to expect. Nothing new in this profile on the Apocalypse side of things. And then they have what they call the Chaos War Dog, which is the little armiger. And that, again, has all of the stuff you would expect. The Thermal Spear, the Autocannon, the Chain Cleaver, Armored Feet. And it can be a vehicle squadron.
Yeah, this is it's all about the stratagems. If we're going to have marks of chaos over Legion or over houses, I'm waited with bated breath.
Yep, 100%. And then on the Space Marine side, going into the Shadow Spear box that came out, we can kind of look at some of the Primaris stuff and get an idea for what we might see in the near future. So the Hellblasters, they didn't give them the two different ways to shoot. They just have the one plasma incinerator, which was interesting to see. So maybe that's a rules change coming for Hellblasters in a 2.0 codex. Hard to say. Primaris Librarians got across the board, not just Phobos, not just those Hobos librarians, got the option to have the the Phobos armor, so the stealth armor. So maybe you can just take that arbitrarily for those characters in the future. Suppressor squads, nothing super new there. And the Eliminator squads have an option called Las Fusels. And these are interesting because you can switch out the bolt sniper rifles with what's called a Las Fusel. And it has, in the Apocalypse rules, a higher strength weapon against personnel over tank. So perhaps it's like a smaller range, 36-inch las cannon-ish multi-laser type weapon. Hard to say at this point.
Did you see how anything with the sniper keyword gets +2 to hit against characters?
Oh, in Apocalypse?
Yeah. So snipers are going to be clutch. And they also mentioned that detachments without HQs are considered like out of organization and take a massive penalty to their leadership checks at the end of the turn when damage is allocated. So snipers are going to be pretty clutch.
Oh, that's if you snipe out the commander. Huh.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I'll have to check that preview. They also mentioned new mechanics like critical damage if you take if you get down to half, and it's the most recent previews. I think that was like the big thing that I thought was pretty interesting. The Repulsor Executioner, I don't think there was any clues as to its carrying capacity. Oh yeah, it said it can transport up to 6 friendly Primaris infantry, and Mark X Gravis models take up 2 space. So we kind of thought it would be on par with like the Razorback, which it looks like it is for the Primaris. So it also has the option to have the heavy laser destroyer, the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, and all the pew-pews. Oh, the macro plasma incinerator. So that will be a new release next week as well. So I'm sure folks are going to be picking that one up. And the fact that it can have the transport capacity of 6 and have all that firepower is probably going to be appealing to some of the Primaris players out there. And the question that we have for that may be how that would fit into some of these top Ultramarine lists we're seeing winning here. So I guess we could run those down if you got them handy.
I do. There's a number of Space Marine lists that are kind of adopting this armored Death Blossom type shooting army. And one of those did very well at the Throne of War tournament this past weekend. It doesn't have... Okay, so I'm going to have to kind of parse this out because it doesn't list the detachment. So it looks like
I might have
Spearhead with a Tech Marine. It's a mixed attachment because it has 4 Black Templar Servitors. I'm assuming for that stratagem that can help block psychic powers. He's got
deny the witch on a 4-up if you're within 24 inches of a Black Templar person.
Or like what, 1 CP?
Plus they each have like a heavy bolter, which is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the Relic Whirlwind Scorpius. We've seen that a lot. It's super good. He's got 3 Predator tanks with it says side heavy bolters. It doesn't list the main gun.
It's probably autocannon.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's autocannon based on the points.
The autocannon, the Predator autocannon with the kill shot stratagem is real fucking good.
Right. He's got a 2nd Spearhead, which is a Ultramarines attachment, again with a Tech Marine. He brings 3 units of Eliminators, which a lot of people are picking up now. Like you're seeing them more and more after people have kind of fleshed out what they can do post-release of the Shadow Spear box. Then he's got 2 Repulsors, in the kind of optimal loadout, lots of shots and some las cannon shots. And then of course a super heavy with our Lord and Savior Rabute Gilliman, giving rerolls to all of those tanks. And this is very similar to a list that Kenny played at LVO.
Yeah, Aaron from Team Happy shut my LVO dreams down in round 5, just dealing me my single loss, knocking me out of any kind of top 8 contention with that list. And let me tell you what, that's a super hard list to play against. Like, whew, man, like the guns, its mobility, its board control. I mean, the deny the witch, don't, it's there for a reason. Like, because you can bring your super badass in there, boost them up to +4 to cast, and I'm going to turn off Robbie G's invulnerable save, and we're going to kill him, or we're going to do this or that. I'm going to warp time this. And you're like, cool. So what did you roll? You're like, I rolled a 14 because of my +4 to roll. You're like, cool. Let me just bang this 4 out with a reroll real quick. So there's all these little tricks built into it, in addition to the straight damage it can deal with its reroll everything Robbie G Thug Life.
Right. I've been wanting to do a more armored centric Space Marine list for a while, and if this new repulsor tank is, within the realm of possibility points wise, I definitely see myself doing this because it's low model count. You get to kind of crack out and paint some cool tanks with all the fun weathering and all that stuff, and it's Ultramarine, so I'm gonna love it.
What did you think of the? I don't know if you saw it, the 3rd place Ultramarine list. I think, which one was that? The Flying Monkey. Yeah, Flying Monkey Con. There was it's 3rd place list. I guess I can run it down real quick.
I see a chaos.
Let me cut you off real quick. This is a great question. Someone in chat's like, do they still get to fall back and shoot because Templar are there? No, they'd lose that. They lose their Legion trait, but there's nothing in the army they care about for that. It's all tanks.
Well, I think that was just a spearhead detachment, wasn't it? That the Templars were in?
Anybody, but you said it was mixed, right? So there was a detachment where they were mixed up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just that detachment. The one with the Predators, it looks like. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter because Codex Space Marines currently does not convey chapter tactics to vehicles.
Yeah. So
then that's perfect.
So the repulsors do fall back and shoot because they're fly. So straight up unaffected.
The other Ultramarine list had Tiggy and a Librarian and Hobo armor, which I thought was pretty cool, in just a battalion with 3 squads of scouts with a sniper rifle, so OG scouts. And then what I liked, which was different from all the stuff we've seen, was a Vanguard detachment using the Vitrix, or the Vitrix Guard specialist detachment. So it had a Librarian, and that had a grip of Vanguard veterans, some with Thunderhammers, some with chainswords, some with chainsword storm shields, some with chainsword Thunderhammers. Obviously you're not going to put the storm shield in there because you're going to want to swing twice if you die, or just swing twice in general. So there's a couple grips of those, and then the Victrix Honor Guard, which can protect the characters. Oh, and an Ancient, so everybody was getting the +1 attack within a certain bubble. But what's cool about this is that those what is it? What's that detachment? The Vanguard. What do they call these? Excuse me, the Vitrix Guard Specialist Detachment. You have a stratagem that actually lets you, for 3 CPs, lets you pile in an attack at the end of the enemy's charge phase.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Which can be very.
What is he using that? What does he have, like a unit of dudes with chainswords or something?
Vanguard.
Yeah, so
Vanguard,
2 with
power weapons and Thunderhammers.
That is something that my man Alan, our local Ultramarine hero here in Hollywood, one of my boys who went 5-1 at Bay Area Open, was best Space Marine player, does historically really well with his Ultramarines mono 100% Dreadnought Bash. He's talking about dreams of incorporating that unit into his army right now.
Dude, I'm telling you, a Lord Discordant does not want to get fucking charged up on and get swung on first, because it won't be coming back.
Nothing likes to get charged before it swings when it charges.
Yeah. No. And this is such ridiculous shutdown.
Do they get to just jump in the combat, or is it only when I charge them?
Only when they charge in.
It's a pile-in.
It's basically a pile-in, right?
So they have a 3, so they can go in 3 inches.
I'd have to look it up. When we played the Long War doubles at Bay Area, I included that detachment in there purely for the fact that it might be clutch to be able to interrupt a charge with some Victrix Guard if somebody tried to kill Gilliman with like a Chain Lord or something. And I'm pretty sure they don't have to be the ones that were charged.
So it's not stooping dive where you just roll a charge dice.
I think it's similar to stooping dive.
It's similar. Okay, so here it is. You use it at the end of your opponent's charge phase. Pick a Victrix Guard, which that whole detachment is, that was charged this phase or performed a heroic intervention. That unit can immediately pile in and fight as if it were the fight phase.
That's what I was thinking of.
So it does have to be charged or heroically intervened.
Yeah, because your opponent charges you declare heroic interventions, then you play the stratagem.
Right. So
they just got charged.
So if like your baller Thunderhammer super squad's here and I charge this unit, they can't do anything. Right?
No, they can.
It just said if I charge them or they heroically.
Oh, that was charged this phase or performed a heroic intervention.
Yeah. So like literally it's not stooping dive. Stooping dive is within X inches.
It was similar.
Well, stooping dive, they literally get to charge you. They have to roll the dice. And it's a full
they do.
charge.
Yeah, they do get to charge.
Stooping dive is ridiculous because anybody within the bubble gets to roll 2 dice, charge you, and they all fly. And now they can fly back over their own dudes again. That's the one I hate.
Well, the footprint for the squad on 32 mil bases is pretty significant.
No, I like this one. This one is like what I think stooping dive should be. This one is way more game centric. Like the stooping dive one is silly because like you can just have a bike unit with a Dawn Eagle jet bike captain inside of it that you can't interact with. You charge it to finish it off, and he's like, let me just roll these 2 dice and fly over my own guy, and now you have to deal with this.
Because I was thinking of it in terms of the Victrix Guard because that's how I was using it because I screen Gilly with a couple of units of Victrix Guard which can heroic intervene.
Oh, they can. Yeah, they can.
Oh, do they have that ability? So Victrix Guard innately?
The Victrix Guard, the special Ultramarine unit, can do that. They're like bodyguards.
The bodyguard unit that takes the shield drone unit, essentially.
Yes, exactly.
So there's some play here. I like it. I like seeing Ultramarine lists do well, and they can. Yeah. And I love playing with my friend Alan Marshall out here who does super well with them because it's been an unending string of salt about how terrible Space Marines are and how unplayable they are, while he simultaneously is going 5-1 at 160 person events. And it's a constant string of just like chaos is OP. And I'm like, we're both super factions. We're both OP. Like,
well, I thought it was a pretty cool alternate.
I've been looking for a reason to put some Space Marine tanks on the table. I'm liking it.
Yeah, absolutely. So those were that was just side note there.
I love it.
Then there was, let's see, what was the other big list here?
There was a number of tile lists, another work list. So let's see. Masters City Major. There was a tile list. And starting off, he has an Outrider detachment, Tau Sept, Commander Battlesuit with the advanced targeting system, 3 cyclic ion blasters, some shield drones. He's got Dark Strider, unit of Pathfinders, and a unit of Recon drones. Then he's got another Pathfinder team, same thing. And then 3 units of tactical drones, all shield drones, big bricks of them. Then he's got a Vanguard detachment, Tau Sept, another Commander in Battlesuit, same thing. Triptides. And then he's got a Supreme Command attachment with 3 Cadre Fireblades and another Commander in Battlesuit.
What's the sept they're picking?
Tau Sept.
Tau Sept.
And then an Ethereal to finish it out.
Which one is Tau Sept?
Oh man, don't ask me. I haven't played Tau since 6th edition. I just see Tau and I say, you know what? All I got to do is get in charge range, and then none of that shit matters.
Yeah. Except that they have like all the things in the world to prevent that.
I mean, charge through a wall, do some of that stuff. It's kind of fun.
Charge your big badass into a guy who happens to have 3 shield drones near him still.
Yeah, I mean, you got to deal with that, but
so dumb.
Let's see.
Overwatch on 5s. Tau Sept is Overwatch on 5s. Yeah, see, that's the one.
That's solid.
That's the one.
All right.
I mean, not to mention all the other rules.
And there was another Tau list from the Stay in Your Lane GT. Battalion, Tau Sept, Shadow Sun, and an Ethereal. He's got 3 strike teams. Then he's got Triptide and Outrider Detachment. This does not list a Sept. I'm assuming it's Tau Sept. Commander Battlesuit.
It is.
Big old brick of crisis suits, all with cyclic ion blasters and a bunch of drones. Then he's got a 3 tactical drone squads, all shield drones. Oh, nope. 6 shield drones, 3 marker drones, and he's got 3 units of those.
Savior Protocols, the most annoying rule in the game.
Yep. And then the last one is from Basement Open. Battalion Sacia. I don't know how to say it. Sept.
Sacia.
Sacia. Cadre Fireblade. 3 strike teams. 3 Firesight Marksmans. Then he's got an Airwing detachment with some Sun Shark Bombers. He's got 3 of those. You don't see those very often.
This is really cool.
And then, he's got like all the tanks. Then he's got a Spearhead detachment with another Cadre Fireblade. This one is Tau Sept, though. This elite Dayak Grek, I think that's the guy from Blackstone Fortress. He's like a Kroot sniper that can infiltrate. Pretty cool. 3 Hammerhead gunships with smart missile system and ion cannons.
Trip Hammerhead, real good.
I think one of them's, I'm sure Long Strike. Well, he might go.
No, he's not.
You don't need it.
And then 3 Skyray gunships.
Oh, Skyrays too. Whew.
Yeah.
Trip Hammerhead. The three Skyrays is a problem.
Yeah. You don't see those much, but they are a problem.
Like, Tau had a good week. Week.
It's a big jump, as Kara Quinn in chat said, 4% to 10% representation.
Let's see. We got a chaos list from the Flying Monkey GT. This is the Purge. Got a Sorcerer with Jump Pack, Mark of Nurgle. 2 Hellforged Contemptor Dreadnoughts with Butcher Cannons and a Havoc Launcher. 3 Dorito Dreadnoughts with the Butcher Cannon Array and Greater Havoc Launcher, all Nurgle. Then he's got a Battalion.
Everything has to be Nurgle and Purge.
Yep. He's got a Chaos Undivided Battalion, Demon Prince of Chaos, Poxbringer, 2 units of Horrors, Plague Bearers, and then he's got the Flawless Host.
That's why he's Undivided,
Yep. 3 Lord Discos coming in right at 2,000 points. Solid list. It's the new sensation, Sweeping the Nation, doing the Monster Mash. Then we've got a Windy City GT Orc list from PJ Pants, greatest name ever.
I thought he quit 40K to play AOS for a while.
I guess not.
So he's got a Death Skulls Battalion, Big Mech on Warbike, Big Mech with Shock Attack Gun, 3 units of Gretchen. Then a Bad Moons Battalion, Basic War Boss, Weird Boy, 2 30-man units of Boys, and a unit of Gretchen also at 30. Then he's got a max unit of Tank Bustas. And then he's got a Freebooters Battalion with Captain Badrock, 3 units of Gretchen. One of them is at 24 and the other at 10. Max unit of flash kits and a bunch of mech guns. And I love seeing this. It's like you never see Captain Badrock and the backup gang with the flash kits. Like nobody ever plays flash kits. So it's super cool to see Captain Badrock and flash kits doing some cool stuff at a major GT.
That's true. Well, congratulations to Alan PJ Pants.
Yeah. It's a cool list. Like Badrock is one of my all-time favorite orc models ever. Love that model.
Good to see him back on the scene. Getting some W's. Oh, Haspil, do you remember that one time we beat him at War Games Con doubles?
Was that Team Twilight? Was that year?
No, that was the year that we played. Oh, no, it was with Donovan. It wasn't with you. Me and Haspil had a tradition of going to Wargames Con and teaming up, and we crushed it every year with Team Twilight. We were the originals. We're the originals. and they were letting us do anything. And we were the ones rocking the Thunderwolf Cavalry Death Star with Secondary Priest Aura. That first year when we won it. No, it was when I came back with Donovan running Grey Knights with demons.
Nice.
Abusing Sanctuary, Hammerhand, and other things on my Bloodcrusher Death Star with Fate Weaver.
Oh, speaking of, Wargames Con is open for registration. It's going to be in August. I think the 17th and 18th is when it's supposed to be. I registered today, but it's like
dope.
August 17th, 18th, 19th, somewhere in there. Here in Austin, Texas, one of the greatest cities on the planet. It's under new management. And is shaping up to be a really great event. So if you want to come down and play some 40K, I'll be there, obviously, because I live here. And, kick it in ATX. Make sure to go over to Wargames Con and get registered.
Haspil, take us out of here.
You have the look of a man who accepts what he sees because he is expecting to wake up. Ironically, that's not far from the truth.